Fellas, I figured that I'd do something a little bit different than make a series on complex Avengers projects. So I thought I'd do this little small project and possibly make a series on lasers. Maybe like involve some laser watches, laser glasses. I don't really know. Maybe will. But I hope you enjoy this video. It's nothing but just a simple cutting a laser pen in half and then just gluing it all on a ring. So yeah, enjoy. Alright, first let's take our little laser pointer out of the packet. Doo-doo. And it should be a fresh laser. See, it works fine. Just like that. It's got the flashlight and everything. Now this isn't just going to be a laser ring. We're also going to keep the flashlight intact, alright? Now first what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece off. Whoops. Right. Yeah, just like that. See how it came off smoothly? You're just gonna remove it from the laser, and boom, there you go. You got your little laser with 2 LED flashlights. That's new to me, but hopefully it won't interfere with the process. Dump the little buttons out, and here's the battery pack right here. Now for the next step, you're gonna want to leave that in, just like that. And there's 2 holes from where the buttons were. In this other tool I thought I said you needed, we're gonna take the tip of it and then we're just gonna cut it from there like scissors, kinda. Okay, there we go. We cut it off. Here's the other half of it right here. Now let's just discard this half. Right there. And the reason why you would want to keep the batteries in, well, I didn't, but you know what I mean. The reason why you would want to do that is so it can keep its shape, so when you're screwing the back of this on, it won't be much trouble. Oh, that's good. This came off. I got in the way anyways. See how I'm not having much struggle with it other than it being tight? What we're gonna do is we're gonna keep this side of the battery pack, the one that you screw the cap on, and we're just gonna set it aside for a bit. Because we're gonna use that other tool that I used to cut this, these wire cutters, to clip off the spring of said laser. Easy work. We need the spring because it helps it keep the circuit closed inside the battery pack, you know? So I'm gonna take a little helping hand and solder this spring to the negative wire that we mentioned earlier. Take our negative wire here we go. Now, the way I solder doesn't seem all that correct, because what I do with the soldering iron is that I pick up the solder with the iron and then I place it onto the thing. But I've seen people just mix it up like that. I'm not used to doing that, so solder it the way you want, but still, you have to have a negative wire connected to this spring that we clipped off of the laser. And we're going to take some shrink tubing. If you don't have shrink tubing, that's okay. I'm just being more cautious. There. There. Alright, now we got our spring-tipped negative wire. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the shell that contains 3 of the batteries, dump the batteries out, and then glue it right on the hole of, glue the spring right on the hole of the pack, right here. Now why you do this is so while said wire is connected to the spring, it's still simulating what it's what it was when it was attached to the laser, because we're not reconnecting the laser horizontally, we're connecting it vertically because it's going to be attached to a ring. It's easier to do this with hot glue than to wait with simple Gorilla Glue. If you want to do it with Gorilla Glue, that's fine by me. I've done it before, but you might not get all that you want in the amount of time that you need it. You only want a little bit placed on the shell because you don't want to be hot gluing upside down while the other glue is melting, you know? So we'll just wait for that. Now wait for that to dry. It doesn't really take that long. Alright then, it's dry. Here we go. You can see the spring in there, perfectly aligned outside of the shell. And now, when you place the batteries in, it's not going to go in all the way as the shell remains singular, you know? just like that. Yeah. You have to put it in this first. But before we do that, let's go ahead and drill a hole into it. We want the hole drilled at least a few centimeters, or at least like a little bit away from the lines, the screwing lines. You want it to be like next to that or near it, you know? So we're gonna take that, screw that on there. Now I'm just eyeballing it, but you don't have to do that. As I said in the Captain America Part 1 video, keep an eye out for Part 2. I said that you don't have to eyeball it like I do. You can just take measurements and then mark where you want to drill it. Unlike me. There, we have our hole. Let's see how it turned out. Almost near it. And it doesn't really matter. You just don't want it too far over here, you know? Because you want the shell to be pressing the wire up against it. And why I say that is because we're going to be putting this positive wire into that hole, because we can't solder it to the pen. We can't solder it to this rim, which is where the positive current flows. We're just going to take the hole and positive wire. Oops. And then just put it through the hole like that. And then we're going to take the shell with the negative wire attached to it. And then just push it in all the way. This may or may not be difficult for you. It depends on how much hot glue you leave outside of the shell. So you might have to like ram it in, you know, just like me. And then we're going to take the positive wire and stretch it over the pen. And then just glue it down. Just like that. There. We glued down the positive wire. And now both wires are perfectly assembled. Now, if you're not too sure about the shell's placement, you can push it in a little bit too far to the edge, and then you can put all the batteries in, you screw it in, and then you glue it in place. See? Just like that. And then when it seems good, never mind. Put the batteries in. Because the spring might have too much pressure on it, making it difficult to screw it on the pen, because we're putting this on a ring. Oops. It's sort of difficult to screw it on because you can't really get it even, like a bottle cap or such things. There. Now let's see how the shell is. See, the batteries are perfectly fine. And let's blow the batteries out. See, the shell's okay. The spring's safe. Everything is what it's supposed to be so far. Alright, I just hot glued the rest of the black wire in place. So it can melt with the other glue, and then all of it would be inside the pen. Completely massing it out. While I wait for that to dry, I'm just going to sit here and expose the positive wire. I'm using pliers so I don't pull it off of the pen. Oops. I'm being cautious so I don't clip the wire completely like I just did. See? These are wire cutters, but you can use them, see, to expose the wire just like that. There. Now we got both wires exposed. And that way we can apply power from this battery pack to the to other things, really, not just the laser. Now obviously this problem you're going to have to deal with whether you clip the pen or not is making sure the batteries go in correctly. See? It wasn't difficult putting the batteries in. It wasn't difficult screwing the cap on. Both wires are connected, and so we should go ahead and see if they work right or not. This is my box of LEDs where I keep all of my lights. I have a black light. I have a ring of those particular lights. Flashlights, like in the Iron Man Gauntlet series. Go ahead and check that out. Just regular small LEDs, just like this. A red LED light. It's not red, but it lights up red. So if I line up the wires according to the rods on the LED, and I apply the power to the LED light, it should light up. Hey! Amazing! So, in case you didn't want to make a laser ring specifically, I taught you how to make a tiny little battery pack out of a laser pen. So now let's get to soldering it to a laser and then putting it all on a ring. So we're going to get a little helping hand out again. We're going to take the little cheap ring, and then we're going to glue the battery pack to the ring. Oops. Now it literally could be any cheap plastic ring. All this is just a base for your little battery and laser. Let it dry for a bit. Now here, for this part, beyond, I highly recommend Gorilla Glue. I'm just doing this for the speed of the video, because I am lazy. Now the reason why you would already be wanting to glue the battery pack onto the ring is so you can measure how long you would need to have the wires. Now what I like to do is I like to align the LEDs perfectly with the battery pack. Now if this wire gets in the way too much, you can just move it a bit it can't get in the way too much, you know. So I align the LED lights with the battery pack perfectly. You can't really see it but from my angle, it looks okay. The LED lights are even with the battery pack. So, and then I take the wires, and then I figure out how long I would actually need them. So with this wire, it looks like I clipped it too long. I'm gonna have to remove like ½ an inch from it. There. And now I should be able to solder it onto the back of this wire without any problems. And for this, we're gonna be soldering it to the very back of it, and it's not that much of a distance, so I'm just going to take the wire and here. There. I got my stuff in place. I just need to expose the wires and then solder them, and eureka, we're done. Alright, so here's what I did. I soldered the wires to the laser according to the laser's circuit, and this is how it turned out. And you know what? It actually works. I'm pretty proud of it. Now all what's left to do is glue it to the ring.